What's up? I'm riding to Lonavala today with a couple of friends. Ended up being pretty late already, 7 a.m. and just getting out of the city. Misconceptions regarding the Ducati as a brand and Panigale as a motorcycle. Before I bought this bike, even though I had my heart out for it, there were a ton of people asking me not to buy this one. For no apparent reason, based on rumors and what they had heard about the brand. So the first misconception being Ducatis are unreliable. So take that crap and throw it off, because that's not true. I've done, as you can see, 8,335 kilometers as of now. I've got 2 servicings done and I've been ripping it through. I have had no issues till now whatsoever. This misconception came from the older Ducati. Everything was manufactured in-house. These Italians have a crazy notion of manufacturing everything in Italy or in their in-house factory. And that led to too much work distributed among a few people, and that does end up with mistakes that later turn out to be problems for the customers. So when Ponte, indirectly Audi, bought Ducati, the Ponte engineer bolt, every single component was manufactured in-house. So the Germans took over, screw Italian fashion, but they needed to build bikes which sell and not break down every 1,000 kilometers. So they reworked everything, and all the electronics and stuff were sent to Japan for manufacturing. The ECU on this bike is done by Mitsubishi, and a lot of other electronics are manufactured in Japan. As you know, no one else makes better electronics. The previous electronics on the Ducati, all the wires are of the same color. Good luck finding where the problem arises from. If everything looks same, let alone you, neither would the Ducati engineers understand what went wrong and where. Now the scenario has changed. The service intervals have changed. The engines are very reliable, very smooth, and for a V-twin, very refined. Of course, if you compare it with a 1000cc inline 4 or any inline 4 for that matter, the refinement is not even close, because these Ducatis aren't meant and aren't known for their refinement. They're known for that characteristic engine, that torpy engine which lights up like a Christmas tree every time you get on the throttle. And it has that characteristic note, a very bassy one at that. Second misconception being Ducatis don't sound good. You wanna hear it? Panigale in real, you'll never guess what it sounds like on those YouTube videos. It's way bassier, way louder, and super sweet. You fly by and it shakes up the road, literally. The third misconception being Ducatis are expensive to maintain. Maybe outside India they are. In India they're almost the same as any other motorcycle. The first service of this bike cost me around 11,000 bucks, and that was fair enough, considering the next service was 12,000 kilometers later. Even though I got it at 7,500 kilometers, the second service, because I'm really paranoid about my engines and I'm a rough rider. So I prefer getting the oil change a couple of thousand kilometers before the manufacturer timed service interval. So this misconception really came from the older Ducatis as well, where the service interval for these bikes was very short, and for the second service, that is close to 10 to 12,000 kilometers, you would have to shell out a lump sum amount for Desmo service. What is Desmo service? Desmo service is valve timing adjustment and correction. And the older Ducatis needed that every 10-12,000 kilometers. And it turned out to be very expensive. In India, a Desmo service costs you around 45,000 rupees. out 45,000 rupees every 10,000 kilometers is just bullshit. But right now they have reworked, as I said earlier, Porsche came into the picture, Audi came into the picture, they reworked their engines, they reworked their platform. So now the Desmo service lies at 25,000 kilometers, which is a fair deal considering all other bike manufacturers suggest you to get your Desmo, I mean the valve service, every 25-30,000 kilometers. So that's that. The third one, the fourth one, Ducatis heat up. Oh boy, they do. No misconceptions here. They do heat up. Is they manageable? Absolutely, yes, they are manageable. And do they heat up during riding on the highways? See, for yourself right now, if you can see my dash, the bike is doing 75 degrees centigrade, which is a fair deal considering I'm riding in 25-26 degree weather in the summers. It's not very cold outside, it's in fact warm, and I'm ripping it apart, doing 220 in the previous trek. No, they don't heat up while you're riding like they are meant to be. This bike wasn't designed to cruise through city traffic. It was designed to go 200, 300 on the track, and it does that beautifully. If you take a track bike and expect it to work like it was designed to in city traffic at stop signals, don't buy this bike. I ride it to city myself. I've gotten used to the heat. You have solution for it. I've got these tank grips, thick ones, rubber tank grips, which help ton. They don't transmit heat from the tank. One being Ducatis are expensive to buy. Yes, they are. Not in India. No, not in India. This bike costs you around 16 lakhs on road, depending on where you stay. That is around a lakh more than its closest rival, the Daytona R, the 675R. And the equipment list you get on this is insane. Yes, agree, the Daytona gets some carbon fiber parts, Öhlins, and the Brembo M50, if I'm not wrong. But trust me, you don't need those unless you are hitting it at the track and the only thing you care about is lap time. Daytona is a fucking epic track bike. More so, better than this. Even though this is more powerful, I think the Daytona can crack this open on the track. It's a sweet handler. But on the street, hell no, this thing will eat it alive. It's got 150 bhp, close to 150 bhp, and it has got enough grunt to put 1000cc inline 4 bikes to shame. It shells out 0 to 100 in 2.4 seconds. All thanks to the torque and the super light chassis. So what you get in that one lap? You miss out on Öhlins. Totally agree. Öhlins are gold for a track oriented or a cornering junkie. There's nothing like Öhlins. I've used Öhlins on a Ninja 300 and they give you so much confidence with corner, and you don't need to adjust them as much as you do with these suspensions, the stock suspension of the Panigale. The Öhlins have, I don't know how they designed it, they feel flush when you hit bumps and feel stiff when you're going hard at the corners. I don't know how they do that, but they just do. And of course they cost so much more. I wish they had a S version in the 899, giving the buyers an option to have Öhlins on their already epic Panigale.